Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more of the latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So Ole Gunnar Solsjaker cannot afford any more bad results at Manchester United now. We do know that we've endured a really difficult start to the season. We've only won 2 league games out of 6 league games so far. So in that aspect, we've only registered 8 points from 6 league games, and we do know that is nowhere near good enough to our standards. But despite our bad start to the season, Manchester United are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ed Woodward, of course, is still convinced that he can turn things around at Manchester United. Now, I did initially say in my overarching view on all of this is that I think we need to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more. We do need to give him a bit more time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now overall for around 10 months, so he has been at the football club just under a year. Obviously, we did recommend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in December of last year following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho, and obviously the first Solskjaer came in as interim manager. Obviously, he was interim manager for 3 months, and obviously, he did really well in that 3-month period. And whilst he was interim manager, everything, went really well. The results were good, the performances were good. He's getting the best out of these group of players, and he exceeded expectations. But since he got the job in March earlier on this year, everything, of course, has seemed to have all gone wrong. But like I did say, if this bad run of form, does continue to persist, then I do believe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, could be gone by Christmas, because obviously now you've got the vast majority of Manchester United fans demanding him out of the football club. Also, a lot of industries and that believe, he will be gone by Christmas. So Manchester United basically need to get a result tonight against Arsenal. I think what needs to improve at Man United, the performances need to improve, the results need to improve. Certain players have got to really step up to the plate and that, and we've got to be more clinical in front of goal. And obviously, we haven't been clinical enough so far this season. Like I did say to you, I think so this season is actually replicating what I saw last season. And what I mean in that aspect is I haven't really seen much improvements. Because last season, we created a lot of chances in that, but we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League, last season. So far, this season in the Premier League, we've only managed 8 goals, but we do seem to be creating chances in that, but we just don't seem to have that clinical element, and obviously, that is an element of concern. But you can pinpoint, certain games out this season that arguably Manchester United should have won. We should have definitely won at home to Crystal Palace. Obviously, in that particular game, Man United had a lot of chances. We had the majority of the possession, but we didn't win the game. Also, we missed a penalty in that particular game. Arguably we should have won at Wolves away. We should have won at Southampton away. So these certain games already this season that Manchester United, of course, should have won. But I think, due to our inconsistency, like I do keep saying, I think the vast majority of the blame, does stem from the board, because the board, didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer, as they did initially, Shaw and that. And I think, the board are to blame as well, because they didn't recommend, any sufficient attackers in, or any sufficient midfielders in. I think everyone's to blame, so in that aspect there's a mixture, but I think, the vast majority of the blame stems from the board. Also, some of the blame, does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, he has to take responsibility, because his tactics and that are questionable. So I'd say we are tactically inept. I think also some of the blame stems from Ed Woodward, and I mean also some of the blame does stem from certain players that are not performing to the standards that they should be in that. So certain players do have to take responsibility. But yeah, like I did say to you on my recent videos, I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in some aspects in that. He's got a lot of trust with his young players and that. Obviously now the majority of the young upcoming players have been given their chances and that. Obviously, he got rid of a lot of the deadwood, during the summer, and also he recommended 3 good players to the squad, during the summer. And obviously, we spent over £140 million on Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, and we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be. so far. And I did say, you know, if they all keep the consistency up, their valuations, you know, will persistently grow. Actually, a lot of people do believe, you know, that you know, Wan-Bissaka has been our most consistent signing, but it was disappointing, you know, during the summer that we didn't recommend a midfielder in, because that midfield area is one of the priority areas, you know, where Manchester United need to strengthen up. Obviously, don't forget during the summer as well, Man United were in search for right winger. Basically, it was for the majority of the summer, you know, was in search for right winger. But it was a shame, you know, that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. You know, we also didn't recruit a replacement for Marian Fellaini. You know, we also didn't recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. Now, a lot of people believe, you know, we are short of options in that attacking line following the dismissal of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. So definitely further more investment is needed in the squad. So I think we need to give Ole Gunnar Solsjaker at least a couple of windows, you know, to see who else, you know, he can recommend to the football club. But, you know, it hasn't only been this summer, you know, we haven't been competitive enough, you know, in this summer transfer window, you know. I don't think we've been competitive enough in the last, 4 to 5 windows, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, in the recent windows, you know, we didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, you know, reflecting back last summer, you know, we didn't get our number one priority targets. And, you know, Solskjaer was speaking about our recruitment policy, you know, during the summer, and analysing our recruitment policy, you know, let's be honest, you know, it isn't too good. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, anyway, is already making plans for the January transfer window. You know, I think so too is Ed Woodward. So too is Ed Woodward. And I think Solskjaer, you know, still wants to continue the policy of signing, you know, young British players, like he did do, of course, earlier on in the summer. But yeah, definitely, you know, we need to see, you know, more players coming to the football club. And, you know, I do believe, you know, some of the players, you know, we was in for during the summer that obviously, you know, Manchester United didn't manage to get. I think probably, you know, we will reignite our interest in some of them in January. Maybe we will leave, you know, quite a few, you know, until next summer. But in my overarching view, I think Manchester United need at least 3 world-class signings if we are, you know, to be future title contenders. Because, you know, I don't think, you know, we're going to win the league at least for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years in that. Because obviously analysing our squad at this present time, you know, we know it's not good enough to win the league. You know, it's definitely good enough for the top 4 finish. And I did initially say at the start of this season that our expectations, you know, this season, you know, will be to finish in that top 4 and perhaps, you know, maybe win some silver. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations at Manchester United. But I did say our aspirations are going to be at that top 4 in the next couple of seasons and that. But, you know, obviously as well, I think that went against us in the summer transfer window. You know, obviously, you know, failed to qualify for the Champions League. And obviously, you know, when you're not in Champions League football, in that aspect, you know, it's going to be hard, you know, to attract players to the elite level and that. Because I said, you know, during the summer, a lot of players, you know, had reservations about joining Manchester United. Something else that could have gone against us during the summer as well. Obviously, you know, Manchester United failed to recommend a director of footballing. And don't forget, you know, we was in for the director of football, you know, during the summer. And I did say, you know, that's one of the structural changes, you know, that we do need at the football club. And I did say, I think the board are a liability, but I think, you know, the board do need to assure structural changes in the football club. And the question is, are the board going to give, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, the tools and that he needs? But yeah, it was a shame that we didn't get that new director of footballing. Obviously, there was reports speculating out the other week saying that, you know, Ed Woodward, you know, still wanted to, you know, get a new director of footballing and that. And I did say at the time it would be beneficial to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who, of course, has got the experience, and someone who obviously, you know, would be reliable, you know, to oversee our transfer business and that. And obviously, there was talks about Edwin van der Sar the other week and that, and I think he would be the right solution, Edwin van der Sar. Obviously, during the summer, early on this summer, that was, I think, you know, the likes of Evra, Rio Ferdinand and Dan Fletcher, you know, linked with the directors role at Manchester United. But I think he did confirm at the start of this season, you know, regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, you know, should be safe in that, because the board realised, you know, that they didn't back, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, you know, during the summer. So for me, you know, he needs to be back tomorrow in January and perhaps next summer. And yeah, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is our fourth permanent manager, since the Alex Ferguson era. Like I said, I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, tenure can become successful at Manchester United, because obviously we all love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And he was a great player for the football club. So as him being a player in that aspect, he has got that proven pedigree, but he hasn't really got that managerial experience. So that's an element of concern I've got about Solskjaer, and that he hasn't really got the managerial experience to the highest level. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. He only had a short tenure with Cardiff when he was younger and that. But for me, Manchester United still do need to still give him time, because like I said, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. Despite the fact that Man United have sacked 3 managers already since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, David Moyes got sacked after he only served 10 months at Manchester United. After he only served 10 months at Man United, so obviously David Moyes had the shortest tenure as a manager, since the Alex Ferguson era. I think, Louis van Gaal lasted just over a year, and Jose Mourinho, of course, lasted 2.5 years at the football club. But yeah, and obviously, Solskjaer, does want to bring that fear factor back to Manchester United. He wants to bring that winning mentality back to the football club. I know a lot of people have got doubts about that. But, to be honest with you, in all honesty, I haven't really seen much improvement under Solskjaer, than what I saw under Mourinho, Louis van Gaal and David Moyes. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to last at Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't think he's going to last at Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But obviously, we will see what happens. But like I said, we have got games, coming up thick and fast. Obviously, we've got Arsenal this evening, very big game for Man United. Then we've got AZ Alkmaar in 3 days' time. In the Europa League, that's another particular game where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't go my way with the youth. Then obviously 3 days after that we go to Newcastle away, and then it's an international break, and then after the international break we do go to Liverpool at home. So we have got games coming up thick and fast. Now, obviously, I've already given you my preview and that, and the press conference reaction for the game this evening against Arsenal. Obviously, we do know that Manchester United have got quite a few injury concerns. Obviously, we do know this evening that it's very unlikely that Marcus Rashford, will be playing. Obviously, don't forget, Rashford scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal back in February 2016. I don't think he'll be playing tonight, though, because he has got a groin problem as Marcus Rashford. He sustained this, don't forget, in the 2-0 defeat to West Ham last weekend. I think Rashford, should be back before the international break or after the international break. But analysing Rashford's performances so far this season, they haven't been too good in that. They haven't been too good, to be quite honest with you. He hasn't performed to the same sort of extent as how Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire's performed. But, Rashford has done okay in certain parts. A lot of Man United fans, believe that Rashford, is overrated. Obviously, he can play as a centre-forward, and he can also play out wide in that. But for me, I don't even know his preferred position. I think when Martial's fully fit, I think Rashford will spend the majority of this season out on the flank. But Rashford, he's only 21 years of age, and I still say he's still the long-term solution for Manchester United. So yeah, he will not be playing this evening. I would start Mason Greenwood this evening, to be quite honest with you. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Mason Greenwood, could, play this evening. He could make his first start in the Premier League. Obviously, so far this season, Mason Greenwood has made 4 substitute appearances in the Premier League, but obviously, he has played. He has scored 2 goals from 2 starts as Mason Greenwood in his last 2 games. Obviously, he started against FC Astana. He also started against Rochdale and that. And Mason Greenwood, has come up with a moment of quality, and I think he's gaining a lot of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's trust in that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently, gave his overarching view on Mason Greenwood, and he, said it'd be impossible to leave him out of the team. If Mason Greenwood obviously keeps scoring, and obviously, if he keeps the consistency up, Solsjaker has assured that Mason Greenwood, will get more minutes under his belt. And I did say anyway, at this current present time, I think Mason Greenwood is a much better solution than Marcus Rashford. Mason Greenwood is only 17 years of age. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Did really, really well throughout pre-season, did well for the reserves last season, and I think he can replicate this now in the first team with Manchester United. And I think by the time he's 23, 24, I think he can become a world-class centre forward, can Mason Greenwood, and that in my opinion. But like I did say, we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United, and that maybe certain Man United fans, and that I believe maybe some of the young upcoming players maybe should be loaned out for this season because maybe they think it'll be beneficial for their career. In that aspect it will gain them more experience. But maybe the vast majority of the young upcoming players at the club will not become a success. It may only turn out that Mason Greenwood becomes the successful one. I believe also Alex Tuanzebe can become a success at Manchester United. Obviously he's another one of our centre backs, but he can also play as a right back, but his predominant position is a centre back, despite the fact that Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are our first choice centre backs. Obviously in the Europa League and the Cup games, obviously Alex Tuanzebe in that will get given his chances. But don't forget, Mason Greenwood missed the game against West Ham last weekend due to that he currently had tonsillitis. But yeah, I would start him in this game against Arsenal. I would definitely start him in this game against Arsenal. Obviously, we had some good news in regards to Luke Shaw. Now, obviously, we do know that Luke Shaw has missed the last 4 games for Man United in all competitions. Luke Shaw has been out over hamstring injury. Now, we do know again how much of an imperative player that Luke Shaw is. Luke Shaw now, obviously, is into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. And I did say, analysing the majority of his career, I think he's been mainly consistent. He's had some bad spells. He had a bad spell under Mourinho, and he's actually sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player as Luke Shaw. But I think prior to that he's done really, really well. Luke Shaw won the double player of the season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances. And Luke Shaw is very reliable on that left hand side, especially when he performs well. He's good at getting forward, he's good at making them overlapping runs, and of course he has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, with the absentee of Luke Shaw, we do know Ashley Young's been playing on a regular basis recently in the Premier League, obviously to fulfil his role, even though Ashley Young is predominantly a right back. But obviously Ashley Young is no longer our first choice right back. Obviously now it's Wan-Bissaka that is our first choice right back. But yeah, he confirmed that Luke Shaw had Solskjaer confirmed in his press conference that Luke Shaw had returned to training. We hope to see him for the international break, and he has been working really, really hard in training. But I think this particular game this evening against Arsenal has come too soon for Luke Shaw. So I think Luke Shaw should be back for the Outmark game, or definitely for the game against Newcastle. Anthony Martial, we do know, obviously, he's been out with a thigh injury, and we do know Anthony Martial has been a big miss. He's been absolutely big miss as Anthony Martial, because we do know the difference he does make in that attacking line. He brings inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch and that. And obviously, before he sustained his injury, Anthony Martial enjoyed a good start to this season. In comparison, to his last couple of months of last season. But I think, he's done really, really well before he sustained his injury. But I did say, if Martial, can avoid, sustaining any more injuries, and he can keep the consistency up, I think he can score from between 15 to 20 goals this season. But yeah, Martial is a huge doubt for this game. Martial, of course, has scored over 50 goals for the football club. Obviously now he's into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Predominantly plays out wide on the left, but he confirmed at the start of the season that Martial has been given that number 9 shirt, because he does seem to be more effective in that central position. You do see the best of him in that particular position. Martial's still 23. He's only 23. He's still developing in that. My opinion is he still hasn't quite emulated to that level yet. But I think Martial will get to that level eventually. Fossil Mensah, obviously, he's another one with the young upcoming players. It's confirmed, he's returned back to training as well as Luke Shaw. We do know that, obviously, He returned to the club earlier on in the summer because last season he had been on loan with Fulham at Foster Mensu, and I think he sustained the knee injury whilst he was on loan with Fulham, and he has been injured for quite some time, but reportedly he's back in training. We do know that Eric Bay, he's a long-term absence obviously. He's out with a knee injury. Eric Bay is out until I think at the end of December or the new year. Solsjaker confirmed as well that Angel Gomez and Diego Dalot are both out tonight. They're both injured as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had confirmed. Obviously, Diego Dalot has only made one appearance for the club this season. That came in the 1-0 win against FC Mestania. And Angel Gomez, of course, he did initially say, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. He's obviously, another one via midfield options. He actually, played in the game against West Ham. He actually, came on as a substitute. But yeah, they are both injured in that. Obviously, with Paul Pogba as well, he's also, a huge doubt for tonight. Paul Pogba, obviously, has got an ankle injury. Well, he initially, regained full fitness because he was in the starting 11 against Rochdale last week in the Carabao Cup. But Solskjaer confirmed that Pogba played the full 90 minutes, but then obviously sustained another knock. So yeah, Paul Pogba's been, I think, ruled out for this particular game this evening. So obviously, reflects on the amount of injuries anywhere. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have to make alterations in the squad. But yeah, this is going to be a very, very tough game this evening against Arsenal. Like I said, but believe it or not, I think, we're only sitting like, 3 points behind Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal, credit them, they did really, really good investment, during the summer. Obviously, they spent, I don't know how much they spent, but allegedly it said at the start of the summer that Arsenal, had only been given a tight budget, they'd only been given around, 40 or 45 million pounds to spend. But yeah, Arsenal spent a substantial amount on Nicolas Pepe. They paid around £70 million for him. Paid around £70 million for him. Obviously, they got Kieran Tierney from Celtic. He's predominantly a left back. Also, they got David Luiz. Obviously, I think they got William Saliba. But I think he's being loaned back to St Etienne for the rest of the season. So yeah, Arsenal, did a good investment, during the summer and that. I think they did get rid of some of their players. Obviously, one of the players that left Arsenal during the summer, obviously, was Aaron Ramsey. Obviously, he joined Juventus on a free transfer. But in terms of attacking intent, Arsenal are a really, really good team. They have got good players. They've got lights of Lacazette and Aubameyang, and when they play together, they're a fantastic partnership in Arsenal's team. Ozil's aging up, despite the fact that he's aging up. I still think he's a pretty decent player. He's had a pretty decent career with Arsenal. Lucas Torreira is also a very, very good player for them. Granit Xhaka is also, a very, very good player. They've got the likes of Rob Holding. They've got, obviously Hector Bellerin. So Arsenal, have got good players in their squad, that could cause us all sorts of problems. Don't forget, Matteo Guendouzi's been doing really, really well for Arsenal recently. But, we've got a good record over Arsenal anyway. Like I said, they haven't beaten us at Old Trafford in the league, since 2006. That's obviously not around 13 years ago now. The last time they beat us at Old Trafford, obviously, was back in 2015 in the FA Cup by 2 goals to 1. And obviously, that was back under the Louis van Gaal era and that. But like I said, it's always a good fixture is Man United and Arsenal. It's not, the fixture's not as iconic, as it was, back in the day, when we had Alex Ferguson, obviously, when I had Arsene Wenger, because obviously, Ferguson spent 26, 27 years at Man United. Obviously, Arsene Wenger served around 22 years with Arsenal. So in that aspect, they are the 2 longest serving English managers in that. But it was a great fixture back in the day. It was always basically a title decider, back in the day, between Man United and Arsenal. One of the most iconic matches between Man United and Arsenal was the 8-2 back in 2011. Obviously, the fixture last season, obviously, at Old Trafford was 2-2. We did beat them at the Emirates in the FA Cup last season by 3 goals to 1. But yeah, if we can put a performance out tonight, I think Manchester United, can get some, from this particular game. But it's very, very imperative Man United have to win. Obviously, if we do want to keep our hopes up, for the top 4. But yeah. But in my opinion, I think he has to start tonight in this game. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka, will keep his place at right back. Obviously, he actually played in the game against Rochdale, surprisingly. Definitely, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof will return. Obviously, they were both rested for the game against Rochdale. Obviously, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof have blended in very, very well together, mainly in our back line so far this season. At left back, I think he'd probably go with Ashton or Rojo at left back, because obviously Dalot's out. Looking like Luke Shaw's going to be missing, so I think it'll be either Young or Rojo that plays at left back. It probably will be Ashley Young. For me, I think, McTominay needs to start this game. I know McTominay, didn't play against Rochdale, but analysing McTominay's performances so far this season, he has done really, really well. In regards to him being the long-term solution for Man United, I have, got an element of concerns about that, and, these question marks around McTominay, can he keep the consistency up? But so far this season, he's done really, really well. He's played between the lines. He's defended really, really well. But yeah, he's done really, really well so far this season. For the majority of this season, McTominay has been mainly playing alongside Paul Pogba and that. But obviously, due to Paul Pogba's absence recently, obviously, he has been mainly playing alongside Matic. I think Fred as well, he needs to start this particular game tonight, or at least be involved if he doesn't start. I know Fred, wasn't too good against Rochdale, but I think in the last couple of games before the Rochdale game, I thought, Fred really stepped up to the plate. He did really, really well. Fred's obviously been at the club now just over a year. Obviously, the club paid just under £50 million for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk. Obviously, he's mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United in comparison to his time at Shakhtar Donetsk, because analysing him at Shakhtar Donetsk, he was an exceptional player. But yeah, we need to see more of Fred, basically. Like I said, I think he's a much better solution than Matic, but I think any of our midfielders are much better options than the Man United Matic, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Andres Pereira, now I wouldn't be too sure about playing him tonight, because I think Andres Pereira has been very, very poor so far this season. I'll still give him time, because he's still developing in that, and he is still only very, very young. Obviously, actually, Andres Pereira played out on the right against Rochdale, but I thought he was very, very poor. Jesse Lingard, now would I play him? Not too sure, to be quite honest with you. I know that Jesse Lingard has got a good goal scoring record against Arsenal. Obviously, scored a couple of times against them last season. I think he scored 4 goals in all competitions against Arsenal as well as Jesse Lingard. He seems to put a good performance out against Arsenal, but analysing his performances so far this season, he's been really, really poor. And like I did say, reflecting on, Jesse Lingard's status at the football club, and also, he's on around 100 grand a week. He should be putting he should be putting better performances out. Lingard obviously played in number 10 against Rochdale. I thought he was the worst player against Rochdale, or one of the worst players, but he can also, play out on the right hand side. So I wouldn't be too sure about, playing Jesse Lingard. Definitely Daniel James has got to, he'll start this game. Will Daniel James, like I said, he's enjoyed a really, really good start to his Manchester United career. Daniel James so far this season has scored 3 goals. Obviously in that aspect he's, I think, a joint top goal scorer with Marcus Rashford. But yeah, Daniel James has done really, really well, and he's settled in really, really quick. He's taken a huge step in his career, coming all the way from the Championship, to the Premier League and that, and he's done really, really well, to be fair to him. Daniel James, don't forget, scored on his competitive debut against Chelsea on the opening day of the Premier League season. He's definitely got a start in this game. Now, Juan Mata, would I, I don't think Juan Mata will start the game, but, could he be possibly involved in the game? A lot of people now believe, that Juan Mata, hasn't got it anymore. He hasn't got the pace anymore. I admire Juan Mata. I think, he's had a fantastic career with Manchester United. And I think in certain games this season, Juan Mata has been involved in, I think he's, actually, really stepped up to the plate, to be fair to him. I also thought he did well towards the back end of last season. Juan Mata has been a long-serving player at Manchester United. Now he's into his 6th season at the football club. He has made over 200 odd appearances for the club in all competitions. I think he's scored around 40 odd goals with the club. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the FA Cup with us, the Europa League with us, and of course the League Cup with us. But yeah, he has done really, really well. And Juan Mata is now, 31 years of age. Don't forget, Man United did give Juan Mata a new contract earlier on in the summer. We gave him a 2-year contract with an option of a further year. At one point, it was looking very imminent that Juan Mata was going to be leaving the football club on a free transfer, because I didn't think at the time, would have got him a new contract. There was rumours, coming out. There was rumours coming out saying that he could have made a return back to Spain, because obviously, he spent the majority. Well, he spent the entirety of his career in Spain. When he was a lot younger and that. Obviously, he began his career with Real Madrid. He had 4 years there with Valencia and that, and then obviously after that, he did come to the English Premier League, and I think he's tied it up in the Premier League over the years. Don't forget, he had 2.5 good years at Chelsea when he was younger. Then obviously, we got him in 2014, and we paid, was it around 40 million, or was it just under 40 million pounds for him? He says he hasn't got it anymore, but he can still put good performances out, in my opinion. But like I said, guys, this is a very, very big game this evening for Manchester United. So, we'll see what happens. But like I did say, reflecting back, under the Alex Ferguson era, like I do keep saying, we didn't win out in our first 4 years under the Alex Ferguson era, don't forget. Obviously, we recommended Ferguson in from Aberdeen, was it back in 1984 or 1985? And we didn't win out in his first 4 years and that. And then obviously, due to that, Alex Ferguson was basically, on the brink of getting the sack, but he didn't. And then look what Ferguson, went and accomplished. We had, 20 odd years of success under him and that. But like I did say, I think even if we had a manager, to the highest level now, and with a proven pedigree, they wouldn't replicate what we did under Ferguson. No one is going to ever, follow Alex Ferguson's legacy, and that's obviously, something that Manchester United have got to accept. But, we should be much more of a commanding position, there's no doubt about it, reflecting on the amount of money that's been spent at Manchester United over the years. Also, we've got players on big contracts, and, also, with the history of this football club, we should be much more of a commanding position than winning now. But, a lot of money's been spent at Manchester United. Nearly £150 million has been spent under Solsjaker this summer. Just under £400 million was spent under Jose Mourinho. I think around £200 million was spent under Louis van Gaal. Around £67 million was spent under Moyes. So I think we've spent nearly around £900 million in the last 6 or 7 years. So we've spent just under £1 billion, and that's obviously disregarding what was spent under Alex Ferguson. If you want to take into account what was spent under Ferguson, obviously it's way over the £1 billion that the football club have spent on players and that. So we should be much more of a commanding position, than winning now. But the question is, do you believe the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer revolution is working at Manchester United? Is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer revolution, working at Manchester United? That is a question. And but we know a lot of players have now left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. And the good thing is, is that we did get that summer clear out that we did initially demand, but despite the fact a lot of players have left, I still believe these still problematic players at the football club that do need to be moved on in January and perhaps next summer. So we do know the players that left. Obviously Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. He was a long-serving player at the football club. We do know obviously Chris Smalling got loaned out. He got loaned out to Roma for just under £3 million. And despite the fact that Chris Smalling left, we have still got six centre-backs in the team. Obviously, Matty Damian left the football club. He joined Parma earlier on this summer for just over £1 million, I think it was. I wasn't surprised, that Damian anyway, left the football club. I was just surprised, basically, for the amount we let him go for. Because obviously, reflecting back in 2015, we paid just over £12 million for Damian back under the Louis van Gaal era and that. So yeah, we've lost out because we've let him go for over £1 million and we paid just over £12 million for him back in 2015. So we've lost out on around £10-11 million there. So in that aspect, that's bad business from the football club. And we're known for doing it. We've done it in recent years. We overpay for players, and then when it comes to letting them go, we let them go for next to nothing. And like I said, there's been prime examples of it this summer, like I've just said with Damian. We also did it with Ander Herrera. We let Ander Herrera's contract run down earlier on in the summer. And let him go to PSG on a free transfer and all that. Initially, I didn't want Ander Herrera, to leave the football club, because you could arguably say that Ander Herrera, was one of our best players, since the Alex Ferguson era. He had some rough patches during his 5 years with Man United, but analysing the majority of it, I think, Ander Herrera was mainly consistent. And, this is a good statistic. The majority of the games we played, majority of the games we won, Ander Herrera, of course, was playing. So that just shows the impact, he did make in that midfield. But it was bad that we let him go on a free transfer, because obviously, we paid just under £30 million for him from Atletico Bilbao back in 2014. Like I said, Fellaini left back in January. He went to China after he served 6 years at Man United. Sanchez and Lukaku, they obviously, both went to Inter Milan, so in that aspect, they have reunited together. So, like I said, Italy's been a popular destination for the vast majority of our players, that have left this summer. But I think, the players that need to be moved on in January and perhaps next summer or in the future, I think this should be Ashley Young's last season now as a Manchester United player. Obviously, Young's been at the football club now around 8 years. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long-serving player at the football club. And he's passed his sell-by date, and obviously, that's reflecting on his age. Young is now 34. He's now 34, he's young. I think he turns 35 next year, if I'm right. But he's passed his sell-by date with the football club, so he needs to be moved on, I think, at the end of the season. With Phil Jones now, I think he's another problematic player with the football club. Like I did say, the likes of Jones and Rojo, they'll get their opportunities in the Europa League and the cup games and that. But obviously they're going to find it difficult, to get chances in the Premier League of Phil Jones and Rojo. And I think they both need to be moved on by the football club. Jones is now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. Don't forget, we gave Phil Jones a new long-term contract last season, which we shouldn't have really done, to be quite honest with you. We have seen glimpses of how good, Jones can be over the years. I think the football club need to move him on in January and next summer, because obviously Man United can cash in for him. But yeah, Jones has made 2 appearances this season. And with Marcus Rojo, now he could actually be involved this evening due to the absence of Luke Shaw and Diego Dallo, unless he goes with Young over Rojo, I don't know. Rojo's also made 2 appearances this season. Rojo's just got under 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United. I think, if I'm right now, Rojo is into his 5th season at the football club. Don't forget, Rojo was subjected to transfer speculation during the summer, if you can remember rightly. Everton, did inquire about getting Rojo on deadline day. I think Rojo's versatility, and that's very, very good, though. I know he's predominantly a centre-back, but he can play in various positions in that back line, and that he can play as a left back. He can also play as a wing back and Rojo. But for me, he needs to be moved on in January and next summer. And I think Matic is also another problematic player. Matic obviously now is into his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, for the majority of his Man United career, I think he's been mainly inconsistent as the Man United and that, and I think the club need to get rid of him. Don't forget, he's got under a year left on his contract, so Matic's contract does expire at the end of the season. But Man United, of course, do have an option, to extend it by a further year, and he's no longer first choice anyway. He actually, was first choice last season, was Matic, but he's obviously, I think, lost his place in the team, to Scott McTominay. So for me, these still problematic players with the football club. I've recently, give you the news, haven't I, in regards to Paul Pogba. I've given you the latest news about him. Obviously, reports have been recently, saying that Paul Pogba is demanding a substantial $600,000 a week if he is, to remain loyal at Manchester United, and if he is, of course, to renew his contract. £600,000 a week, equates to around £31 million a year. But it's highly unlikely that Manchester United, will meet his wage demands. Don't get me wrong. on. You know, we've got the financial power, you know, to meet his wage demands and that, because we're a massive club, and you know, we've got massive revenues. And as it stands at the moment, he's one of the highest paid players at the football club, because Pogba's on 290 grand a week at the moment. On his current deal, he has got 2 years left on his current deal, you know, with an option of a further year. But I still believe Pogba is desperate to leave the football club. He's still desperate to leave the football club and that. And I think, you know, it did initially say that Juventus are plotting, you know, to make a move for him in January, because obviously it wasn't only Real Madrid in for him during the summer. Obviously, you know, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin, and he did really, really well in Turin and that. He hasn't mainly replicated this Manchester United and all that. He's mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Man United, you know, in comparison to his time at Juventus. Obviously, you know, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. Obviously, you know, he's our most expensive signing. I think we've recently, you know, been in negotiations though with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, you know, over the possibility of renewing his contracts, and obviously, you know, to discuss Paul Pogba's future. But Paul Pogba confirmed back in June, which was obviously early on this summer, you know, he did publicly admit, you know, that he wants to leave Manchester United. You know, he did say, you know, he's seeking for a new challenge and that, and basically wanted to leave the football club, you know, to rejuvenate his career and that. But like I said, his preference was Real Madrid. Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him during the summer. But I did say, reflecting on the substantial amount, you know, we put on Paul Pogba, you know, that was a stumbling block of him making his proposed move to Real Madrid, because we said we wanted around £180 million for Pogba. Obviously, you know, Real Madrid were not willing to meet that. But, you know, Zinedine Zidane, you know, did identify, you know, Paul Pogba as his number one priority target. Don't forget, obviously Zinedine Zidane will be infuriated, you know, that he didn't get his number one priority target. But Real Madrid is still looking to, you know, overhaul their squad, despite the fact that they recommended 5 players in during the summer, and they spent a substantial amount. You know, they spent around £300 million. You know, Real Madrid did sell some players, so they did, you know, generate some of the money back. But yeah, I still think Paul Pogba is going to leave in January. If he doesn't leave in January, now I think he will leave next summer. Ole Gunnar Solsjaker recently, you know, give his overarching view, and he's very, very adamant that Paul Pogba is not for sale in January, and he also informed Real Madrid, you know, that Paul Pogba is going nowhere. But I still think, you know, he wants Mark Worm in the football club. And I did give you a couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, you know, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, and maybe he's just frustrated with the lack of competitiveness at the football club, like I said. So these are probably the reasons why he does want to leave Man United. But like I said, you know, 26 years of age, you know, he has still got a lot of development minimus Pogba. And don't forget, it actually said that Adidas had a big part to play in, you know, Pogba staying at the football club this summer, because Adidas wanted him to remain at the football club, because, you know, they believe it's better for them commercially. But, you know, he wasn't only subjected to intense speculation this summer, you know, he was also subjected to intense speculation last summer, obviously reflecting now on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, because obviously he had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club and that. And we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's, you know, we have seen glimpses of how good, you know, Paul Pogba can be at Man United. You know, don't forget, he was on fire in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But he's mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Man United, obviously, in comparison to his time at Juventus. But there was, like I said, there was also PSG in for him, I think, during the summer. Also, I think Barcelona didn't quite about getting Pogba. It allegedly said that actually Paul Pogba had agreed a deadline day move to PSG, and he agreed a substantial contract with them and that. But he's moved and materialised to PSG due to the Neymar saga. But I still believe Paul Pogba, you know, is going to leave the football club as well. But yeah, we have got quite a few players in our agenda, you know, who we could go in for in January and next summer. I think we could go back in for Jadon Sancho. Probably more than likely we'll go in for him next summer if we had to reignite our interest. James Maddison, there's been a lot of talks going on about him. You know, Man United, you know, could go in for him in January or next summer. Probably seeing James Maddison as the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Maybe Sean Longstaff, don't forget, you know, we tried getting him, you know, during the summer as well, from Newcastle, another young British player. And who else? There was talks about Ousmane Dembele the other week. It said that Solskjaer identified 2 strikers, you know, he would like to sign in January, and that was Ousmane Dembele and Mario Mandzukic. But yeah, who else, you know, would you recommend in to the football club? And that is the question. But yeah, and I think also something else that needs to improve at Man United. You know, I also think our away form needs to improve. Definitely, you know, we haven't won away from home, you know, since the PSG game last season. You know, when Man United, you know, did produce that miraculous comeback in the Champions League. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager. I think also our home form has been very, very poor. But for me, like I said, Solskjaer needs time at the club. I think, you know, the board needs to be more ruthless in January and next summer, and the board do need to assure structural changes in that. And Solskjaer did say, you know, he wanted to bring players in, you know, who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, and of course, you know, who are, you know, going to fit the history of the club and that, you know. And there's been cultural problems at Manchester United in the last 6 or 7 years or so. Yeah. So I will give my reaction for the Man United Arsenal game. It either will be tonight, I'll be on for the review, or it will be tomorrow morning, as always. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.